we go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Emmett, and welcome to the Emmett Jarvis Show. And we are going to get into talking about episode 2 of Iraq and how the Coalition Provisional Authority kind of became a huge part of that mission. So quick recap, last episode kind of started with leaving home, and then it ended with us being in the green zone and calling all clear. Paul Bremer essentially got tapped to be the provisional governor of Iraq until like a democratically elected process could be set up that would usher in a new leader to lead Iraq out of post-invasion Iraq into like the new age. Well, until that could happen, the Coalition Provisional Authority was established, which is essentially like a mock government, right? Quasi-government that was set up to try and jumpstart the Iraqi the government system that would follow. I don't really know the ins and outs. I was like a super young dude. I didn't really get a crap ton of information, but I believe he already had like a security detail from like Blackwater or Triple Canopy or someone. He wanted military presence with him everywhere he went. Our unit got tapped with that responsibility. That kind of became our life. We would be at his compound where he needed picked up. We would give his Suburbans an armed escort to wherever it is that his meetings were. We would sit there during his meetings and ooh, you talk about pucker factor. You're sitting there, you are a human target just waiting for somebody to take shots at you. You could never breathe, you could never really get complacent. It was just hot and miserable outside. You're in a gun truck, you're pulling security nonstop. And when you're not doing that, then you're transporting a very, very important person from point A to point B. When we weren't escorting Paul Bremer around, like the other mission that we had was to escort like dignitaries and whatnot from the Baghdad International Airport to the green zone. Because like I said earlier, the green zone kind of became the epicenter of the government that was being formed for like later. Route Irish is the name of the route that spans between those two, connects those 2 points, BIOP and the green zone. Well, Route Irish was a historically vicious, very violent, dangerous route. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Now, I can also say I never experienced any IEDs on Route Irish. I never personally, I can't remember if we got shot at or not on Route Irish, but I do remember this. We had all the doors off of our Humvees. I mean, we had guns pointing. It looked like war wagons. If you've ever not seen the movie, but like, imagine a Humvee where guns are coming out of every hole. I mean, all 4 doors, there's a gun pointing out of it. The turret gunner up top, which was me, gun, swiveling and turning, nonstop scanning. I want to say we were extremely vigilant on Route Irish as we traveled up and down it. And we also went like balls to the wall. I mean, like you couldn't push the accelerator pedal down any further. Like I remember our drivers were just like, and you hear the turbo go, and we would just go. When we got to Baghdad and we were able to secure everything, that's when airplanes started being able to touch down, drop supplies, men, weapons, and equipment, and dignitaries and state officials and all this other stuff, and money. So we're able to kind of get up to BIOP, get people that are important, and then bring them down to the green zone relatively safely and pretty frequently and regular. I mean, that was like almost like our daily job. There was a depot that we would go to stage out of, where we would essentially get our tasking for that day. Like, hey, you're gonna go get this person from BIOP and take them here, there, or wherever. I remember this one time there was a guy with a cell phone over an overpass as we're coming down Route Irish, and we had already got a signal intelligence hit. There was a dude with a cell phone that was gonna do a remote IED strike on a passing convoy that day. I'll never forget the tension that built up to this moment. I see this guy, and we're maybe like a quarter of a mile out. I see on the overpass one guy. He's staring down. He's got what looks like a cell phone in his hand. And I'm asking my truck commander, what do I do here, man? Like, do I shoot this dude? Like, do I need to engage him? Because at the time, the rules of engagement were like super sketchy. It was like, well, if you had a cell phone in your hand and you were on an overpass and IED strikes were happening there in that area, then they were attributing those things together to be like, that person's a bad person. They're gonna blow up an IED, which is gonna injure or kill US service members or whoever we're escorting, so like, take them out. That was our rules of engagement. I, on the other hand, was like, I don't know, man. It could just be a dude on an overpass, like just taking a picture of us because he's never seen soldiers before, or I don't know, man. I just didn't know what to do. And my truck commander was like, does he have a cell phone in his hand? I was like, yep. He was like, use your own judgment. I'll never forget that, man. I didn't shoot that dude. And you know what? We didn't blow up. There was no IED. So it turned out it was a good no shoot. You get closer and closer and it seems like time slows down because it's like you're hitting this moment in time where you have to make a decision one way or another. And then be okay with like whatever the fallout from that decision is. But nothing blew up. Maybe he was up there hitting the send button and he's like, they got away. I don't know, man, but I'll tell you what, like, pucker factor was like at max going through that situation. I'll never forget that. Being directly engaged by an enemy fighter, like in the earlier days, was like one level of stress and anxiety, you could say, even excitement. But like when we shifted from combat operations to more of like a security role, it was a different level of stress. You have this person that you're being told is extremely important and nothing can happen to them on your watch, which really isn't our mission. You know, as war fighters, our mission was to go out, close with and destroy, you know, whatever enemies, to hunt them down, hunt bad people down and get them off the face of the earth, or capture them and throw them in the frickin' Olympic Stadium so that they could, you know, get sorted out. I would say like how this shaped my mindset is we were able to like start looking for very specific things, learning what was out of place, what looked out of place, what normal habits and behaviors looked like. We got so much time observing and reporting and securing, you know, it really set us up for the future combat operations that we would be involved in. I really think save our lives in a lot of ways because we were keyed in and able to identify things that maybe we would have never even known to look into previous to that we got that experience during the security work that we did. So I thought it definitely developed a tactical patience inside of us too, because you couldn't just shoot everything. You just weren't like weapons free and do whatever you want out there. It was very much very controlled, very deliberate mission that required you to think. And that's, man, when I first joined the Army, there wasn't a lot of free thinking going on. So we would live this life in the green zone from April or May of 2003 until about January of 2004. So you want to be here for the next episode because you're going to learn a lot about what our future looked like. But I'll end this episode on the note of the 1st Cavalry Division arrived in January and everything changed once they did. Thanks for hanging out with us for episode 2 of Iraq. If you love Malinois, go ahead and give a big thumbs up. If you were in Iraq during this time frame, drop a comment below. If you guys find value in this, please leave a like, a comment, share this to your friends and family. And as always, not all therapists wear pants. Some have 4 paws. We'll see you later, guys. Why are you like this? Why are you like that? Everything's a fight. Ah! Take your bone. All right, peace, guys.